Welcome to the second edition of Acceleration. This month we look back at 35 years of British rallying, taking the first rounds of this year's Mobil 1 Top Gear British, Mintex National and Colway Junior Series. We review rounds 2 of the Burma Scottish and Peugeot Gold Star Series, and there's the Vauxhall Panaround. Plus, a special treat for in-car video fans, the entire Pantperhog stage with Bertie Fisher.
Fast right. And very fast left. And got open fast right. And to the left, Max.
Cars used for rallying in the 50s were little modified from their showroom cousins, and rallying was very different from the sport that it's become. Indeed, it wasn't until the Mini days of the early 60s that drivers like Timo Mäkinen and Paddy Hopkirk began to feel the real benefit of works-assisted teams. Although the Mini had been designed with the idea of being a small family car, it was its diminutive size and ideal configuration that led to it being such a force in racing and rallying the world over. With the growth in world rallying, the RAC decided in 1958 to instigate a British Rally Championship, and in 1962 and 63, Tony Fisher and Brian Melia took the championship in a Mini, whilst the works teams were doing their best on the World Rally Championship stage. Indeed, such was the domination of the Mini that even as late as 1970, a Cooper S was still good enough to win the championship, Will Sparrow at the wheel. The winning co-driver of the first two championships in 58 and 59 was one Stuart Turner, firstly with Ron Goulbourne in a Triumph TR3, and then with John Sprinzell in an Austin Healey Sprite. Turner, of course, went on to become competition chief at BMC, British Leyland, before taking the same position on at Ford. It was in the mid-60s that Ford, eyeing the success of the Mini, developed its own rally winner, the Cortina. Strong early development and testing work meant that the Cortina remained the car to beat in racing and rallying for several years. Championship victories followed swiftly in '64 for Eric Jackson and Ken Joseph, and in 1965 for young Roger Clark and Jim Porter, the start of a successful partnership that would dominate British rallying for the next decade. The Cortina took a year off winning in 1966 when Roy Fidler took an unexpected victory in his Triumph 2000, but somebody had to tell him that there actually was a championship that he'd won. He didn't know such a thing even existed. Ford came back in 1967, not only winning in World Championship rallies, but Jim Bullock and Don Barrow took the British Championship in a Lotus Cortina. 1968 saw the championship fall to a small car again, not the front-wheel drive Mini, the rear-engined, rear-wheel drive Hillman Imp of Colin Malkin. Lancia's Fulvia shared the honours in 1969, John Bloxham and Richard Harper using both the front-wheel drive Italian car and a rear-wheel drive Ford Escort to win the championship. But after the Mini victory of Sparrow in 1970, the decade was virtually the province of Ford and its Escorts. There'd already been a hint of what was to come, and when Chris Sclater took the championship in 1971, it was really little surprise. The Escort was the car that revolutionised rallying. Its small, light body shell, mated with a variety of increasingly powerful engines, was an almost unbeatable package, and the Escort was to win the British Championship from 1971 to 1980, with just one exception. It was, and remains to this day, a car that almost everyone could drive quickly and in a spectacular fashion. Perhaps no driver was more successful in the history of Escort rallying than Roger Clark. He became so closely linked with the car in the British minds that he and Escort were synonymous in the way that Hopkirk and Mini had been a decade before. Co-driven by Jim Porter, Roger won the British Championship in 1972 and 1973. It was only the intervention of Irishman Billy Coleman which prevented him from making it a hat-trick in 1974. But Clark was not to be denied. The Escort as competitive as ever and still at the height of his powers, he came back for a third title in 1975. 1976 was a pivotal year for the championship, an overseas driver winning it for the first time. Finland's Ari Vatanen, using a British licence, took the title on his way to becoming possibly the world's most popular rally driver ever. Major changes followed in 77 too. Russell Brooks winning the first championship open to holders of overseas licences. In the next few years, the floodgates opened as 3 different Finnish drivers took the title, and British fans were treated to their best years of rallying to date. After several years of foreign drivers dominating in British cars, it was a change to see a British driver dominating in a foreign car. And that's what Jimmy McRae did, winning in 81 and 82 with his Opel Ascona, being helped in 1981 when both Rothmans Escorts rolled on the same corner of the same stage. McRae's back-to-back victories with the Cosworth-engined Opel Ascona marked the end of the trail for the Escort as a championship contender. But the times were a-changing, and 1983 saw the biggest revolution the British Championship would see in its history. The arrival of four-wheel drive, courtesy of Audi. With Stig Blomqvist at the wheel, the four-wheel drive turbocharged production monster dominated the British forests, with two-wheel drive challengers struggling in its wake. But Audi had bigger fish to fry. Concentrating on the World Rally Championship left the British stage open to those arch rivals, Jimmy McRae and Russell Brooks. For years, their rivalry had been the talk of the championship, and in equal machinery, they dominated proceedings, barely a second to separate them at the end of each event. As Opel Manta 400 teammates, they won a championship each. McRae first in 84, Brooks in 85. 1986 once more saw the British rally scene turned on its head, this time by the arrival of Group B. The limited production supercars were the real stars of the year. Mark Lovell, the championship winner in his Ford RS200, didn't even win an event. Rallying's most powerful cars were banned at the end of 1986, and for 87, two-wheel drive returned to dominance on the British scene. Pantperhog's Manta 400 gamely took the first round of the championship, but he was to suffer all year at the hands of the new car debuted by Ford, the Sierra Cosworth. Still in two-wheel drive form, but with a powerful turbocharged engine, Jimmy McRae took his RED-developed car to a 1987-88 championship double, the second time he'd managed the feat in the British season. McRae's vast experience made him equally at home on tarmac or on gravel, and there probably isn't a rally stage in the British Isles that he doesn't know by heart. In an 8-year period, McRae won the British Championship 5 times. When you consider that Malcolm Wilson has yet to win it, that shows what a remarkable achievement the Scotsman has managed. It was perhaps unfair that he never really got the chance to prove himself at top level on the World Rally stage. Another man who seems to be having the same problem is David Llewellyn, winner of the championship in 89 and 90 in his Toyota Celica GT4. His move from the British Forest to the World Rally stage with Nissan was sadly short-lived, the team disbanding after his first year there. His co-driver in his championship years, Phil Short, runs the Toyota Works rally team, and David has returned to what he loves best in 1993 and 94, the British Rally Championship, driving Vauxhall's Formula 2 Astra. His spectacular style has not changed. Taking over from David Llewellyn, in charge of the British Championship for 2 years, 91 and 92, Colin McRae. As the 90s progressed, it was clear that a four-wheel drive turbocharged Japanese supercar was the thing to have. The people to prepare it were ProDrive, the Banbury-based operation run by Ari Vatanen's World Championship co-driver Dave Richards. In 1991, Colin became the youngest ever British champion at the age of 24, going on to defend his title successfully in 1992 before taking on the World Championship scene in 90. Hitting him hard throughout the season was perhaps the unluckiest man in the British Championship, Malcolm Wilson, returning with Ford and the Escort RS Cosworth in the Michelin pilot team. Malcolm would be out for victory once more when the 94 season got underway. So it was then that Malcolm Wilson led the competitors through Clochainog Forest on the first stage of the 1994 Mobil 1 Top Gear British Rally Championship. And it was soon obvious that he intended very firmly to make up for the previous year's disappointments, immediately the fastest of the runners through the first stage in his Escort Cosworth. You've heard of the luck of the Irish. Well, obviously the luck of the Cumbrians is the opposite. Malcolm once more having problems from the word go.
Next crest into the junction.
Amazingly, the fuel pump had failed. But after switching to the spare, the car was soon ready to take off and would be going as quick as ever.
kink, 60 left, 60 right.
But not for long. Amazingly, the second fuel pump failed as well.
Yeah, down.
We had a problem earlier on in the stage, and we switched over to the other pump, which then got us this far with no problems. And then we just started to come here towards the finish, and then this one failed. So it makes me think that there's maybe something in the fuel that caused the pumps to go.
Both of them?
Both. Can't believe it. It's unheard of.
I was gonna say, you had a few problems last year, but this is a new one.
Well, at least we got to the end of them last year. This for sure. I mean, now we're out of the rally. There's, you know, we're OTL, so we can't continue.
It was thus left to Irishman Stephen Finlay to uphold honours, both for Malcolm Wilson Motorsport that prepared the cars and for Ford itself. And he went about it with a vengeance, setting fastest times on stages 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, and putting a nice gap between himself and his pursuers.
Now then, everyone's been having trouble. Is it all plain sailing for you, Stephen?
So far, so good. We took 10 seconds of the next man behind us in that one, so we're happy with that.
Good luck.
Finlay was in relaxed mood, as was team boss Wilson, starting to get over his own personal disappointment. Running in a very strong second place throughout the rally was Birger Gundersen in his ex-works Toyota Celica GT4. Birger, whose manager had spent the previous week faxing virtually every company in the UK for sponsorship, was certainly giving a good return to those who said yes. And for those who said no, including us here at Sports Scene, it must be admitted that it was fascinating to see that he was just as quick as his manager had promised he would be. Only 1 second slower than Wilson on the first stage, and thereafter second or third fastest on the next 9, was good enough to give him a comfortable second place and mark him down as a man to watch. Now, where's his manager's fax number gone? Murray Grierson's run to third in his Subaru was fast and steady, apart from a frightening fifth-gear suspension breakage which really grabbed his attention. He used the Welsh countryside to regain control and got to the finish in one piece. Another overseas driver to put in a strong performance was Thomas Abrahamson. In fact, he would probably have finished third were it not for a puncture in Penmacno, but despite setting fastest time on the last stage, he couldn't quite overhaul Murray Grierson. Another successful Scandinavian was Group N winner Tapio Laukkanen in his somewhat aged Mitsubishi Galant. He perhaps was a little fortunate in his victory, 20 seconds behind leader Martin Rowe, when Rowe picked up a 50-second penalty. Still, that's what rallying's all about, really, isn't it? With the British Championship going over to Formula 2 entirely in 1995, the category is already hotting up this year. David Llewellyn in particular continuing to do his best to show that it isn't boring. He set 6 fastest stage times on the trot, but didn't have things all his own way, being chased initially by Alistair McRae's Nissan and then by Sebastian Lindholm's Volkswagen Golf. Lindholm and his car were lucky to escape undamaged when it broke a stub axle and threw off the rear wheel in Pantperhog Forest. But fortunately it happened close to the end of the stage and they made it to the end on only 3 wheels. But the rally belonged to Stephen Finlay, and it was a delighted Malcolm Wilson who met him at the end of the final stage. Stephen drove superbly and under a lot of pressure took his first ever international victory.
Well done, Stephen.
Thank you.
So you, what was that like then, that last stage?
The worst stage ever done, I think.
Took 9 seconds, it was.
Yeah, she jammed between 2 gears on me. It must have didn't hit it right, you know. And had a wee panic on, but got her out of it and got it finished. So
It's your first really big win, this. How does it feel?
I don't think it's sunk in yet, but I'll get a few pints and then it'll sink in, I think.
Well done again.
The first round of the Colway Formula Junior Championship was won by Peter Bainbridge in his Vauxhall Astra. Running ahead of the Vauxhall Rally of Wales, the crews had the chance to drive some fabulous Welsh stages before the main field had done their damage to them. Taking second place in only his first ever stage rally was the escort of Mike Brown. Third place fell to front-wheel drive again, this time the Peugeot of Paul Wilson.
Running behind the main field on Saturday was a Vauxhall Panaround Rally. Running behind, of course, meant that the stages were at their worst when we went through. The rally was to prove something of a Ford benefit, with the first 7 cars being Fords, and the first of those was the Sierra Cosmos of John Roberts. Running in second place was Jonathan Bennett Evans in his Ford Sapphire, followed by Mark Perrott and then Philip Squires in the first normal car. Graham Evans was out trying the stages to see if they compared with his own Champion Stages rally. And Ashley Evans was being fairly irrepressible, being co-driven by Eddie Eagles. It was the first round of the 1994 Shell Skoda Championship, and the first round winner was Tim Johnson, driving oddly enough a Skoda. The rally also saw the Forest debut of Sportscene's own Ford Escort RS 2000, and what a debut it was. This is us on the first Forest stage of our competitive careers, 20 miles of Haffron. Alison said that we were so slow she should have brought her crossword book with her. But imagine that this was your first loose surface stage after several years of going round and round in circles. As it was, towards the end we were quite competitive. And just to give you an idea of what it was like, we're going to show the whole Pantperhog stage, which was only our 4th ever forest stage.
40 caution, deceptive square right. And long left max. Opens. 100 right. Into left. 130 over bump. And right max. And slight left, don't cut. Into slight right and easy left. 170. Caution. Very fast right narrows. And caution. Left and right and fast right over bump. 40. Slight right, 100. Turn fast left over bump. Feet fast left over. 40. Right max. 60. Very fast left. And very fast right. Into easy left. 60 long right max. And easy left over crest. 100 slight right logs into left max. And right over crest. 100 left into very fast right. Into easy left over bump. 60 right into easy right and left max over bump. And right over crest. 80 long left max over mud and caution, very fast right. Very fast right. 40 logs and bad mud and long left max and left max. 40 small crest. 100 caution, bad mud into turn, hairpin right and logs, hairpin right. 40 left over bump. 130 right over bad holes, mud and logs. 150 slight right over bad mud. 60 right. 130 caution, stay left over hole into turn square right. Into very fast right. And open fast left. And open fast left. 100 easy right over dip. 40 over bump, caution, easy left into bumps and right max. And very fast left logs and bad bumps. 40, open fast right. 40, very fast left. And easy right logs. And easy left. 100 over bumps, slight left into slight right. Slight right. 60, slight right. Into easy right. And right max. 40 caution. That's right max. 40 caution long, very fast left. Don't cut logs. And caution left into very fast left. And easy right. 40 caution open square right. 80. Long, very fast left. And slight right. And right max. And caution open square left. Into fast right. And easy left. 100 left max over crest. 150 open square right. Repeat, open square right. 40. Long fast left tightens. Right. And long right max. And fast left tightens. 40. Slight right. And very fast left tightens. Continues. 40. Slight right. 40 easy left over dip. 40 right max. 40 crest straight. 100 left max. 40 caution. Very fast left. Very fast left into open fast right. 100 slight left. 100 open fast left. Fast left. Into right. 60 left into open fast right. 40, caution, open fast left. And left, open fast. And to right, 150, left into right max. 130, slide right, stay left over junction, and slide left. 60 right, 60 left into easy left, and slide left. 100, long, right max over crest, right max over crest. Repeat, wrong, right max over crest. 80, downhill, caution, easy right, don't cut. Over dip, 40, square right, don't cut. 40, right max. 130, easy left. 130, slide right. 100 over small crests, and slide left into crest and turn right max, don't cut. Mud, sudden, fast right. Fast right. And very fast left. Into open fast right. And to left max, and right max, and stay right. Into easy left past junction. 170. Slide left. 40, caution, easy left. 60, turn hairpin right. 60. Open fast left. 40, long, very fast left. 100, caution, fast left. 60, double caution, fast left, and sudden hairpin right, don't cut. Hairpin left. And open fast left, continues. 60, caution, long, fast left, into sudden, square right, open. And long, open, fast left, into sudden, turn hairpin right. 150 downhill. Open, fast right. Open, fast right. 40, left, into turn, slide right. 130, caution, long, fast right, tightens. And long, easy left. And right over logs and mud. 170, slide right. 170, easy right. 60, right max. Into long, easy left. 100, caution, stay left over junction, into slide right. 130, caution, tight hairpin left. Tight hairpin left. 150, slide left. 150, slide left, into left over crest. 40, easy right. Into slide left. 130, right over small crest. 80, long, easy left. 40, right max. Max. Into left over bump. Into right. 60, long, easy right, tightens. 40 over bump. And right over bump, 60, right max. Right max. Into left max. 40, easy left. 60, caution. Right into left max, tightens. 150 past junction. Small crest, 150. Caution right. 40, fast right, tightens. Continues. Into very fast left over junction. And fast right now. And slide left. 150 downhill. Left to finish, and long, easy right. 80, long, easy left, and alone. 920.
We hated Pantperhog, but what did Rory Kennedy think of it?
Some rough bits in there.
We went from 25 seconds to only 6 seconds a mile slower than our class opposition in 5 stages. So what did Bertie Fisher do?
Time's improving as you're going along.
Yes, we're, at the start, I think we were maybe, 5 seconds, 4 or 5 seconds a mile slower than Stephen Finlay, for example. And last stage there, I think we're maybe down to about 3 seconds a mile. So it's going to be a long time, mind you, but we're getting there.
Well, now we go from the forests of Wales to the forests of Northern England for the second round of the Peugeot Sport BTRDA Championship, the Malcolm Wilson Rally. The event started in Cockermouth, the town's mayor helping flag the cars away in the main street, and then it was into the forests. Formula 2 cars led the event away, a good spread of manufacturers taking part. The BTRDA has led the way in making its main championship open only to Formula 2 cars and has been rewarded with some good entries and spectacular driving. Mick Hutchinson in his Vauxhall Astra was to take victory on this event, having set 5 fastest Formula 2 times. Mark Higgins also had a good run to finish first in Group N and second in Formula 2 in his Honda Civic VTEC. Meanwhile, the dual running of several of the stages guaranteed excitement and entertainment for the spectators. This is Julian Porter, trying to make sure that we only see his best side and not the side of the car that he used to knock a tree down with. There seemed to be a fair degree of rough and tumble going on, particularly among the Peugeot Challenge competitors. Samantha Ridgway here just about to give Peter Thornton a bit of unexpected excitement. Yes, a narrow miss indeed, and Dave Harrison can consider himself lucky for once to have hit this tree. No prizes for guessing the reason for retirement for Jason Youds on stage 2, or for that of Steve Cottrell. The overall winner, after many years of trying, Doogie Watson-Clark in his Group N Escort Cosworth, having a nice steady run to win his home rally for the first time. Steve Petch finished a strong second and reported no problems apart from finding the conditions predictably wet and slippery. Also surviving the carnage, Paul Richardson was the Peugeot Challenge winner, and John Ballinger took BTRDA Clubman's honours on what was a tricky event. Next time you can't get your escort to pull more than 8,000 and above 120 on a straight, spare a thought for Steve and Dave Aram, running steadily along to 95th position in their Mini. Hey, listen, at least they weren't last. Crossing Hadrian's Wall now for the Valentine Rally, round 2 of the Burma Scottish Championship. And here's the man they're all chasing, round 1 winner, Donald Milne.
Stage 1, almost 6 miles round the Carron Reservoir north of Glasgow. Fast flowing track, but wintry conditions. This is Donald Milne at the wheel of the Metro 6R4 that won the event the previous year in the hands of Murray Grierson. George Gauld had quickly formed a good working relationship with new co-driver Roy Campbell. And Neil Dugan had begun to control his effervescence. It's most noticeable when Stuart Merry's co-driving. He's one of the best in the country, and when he tells you what's round the next bend, you certainly believe him.
Right 3. And through junction, left 6. 6. Right 4. And left.
The Valentine gave Munro his first ever outright victory 2 years ago, but not this time. And Chris Wagner's Audi Quattro is faster than his previous car, but is harder to stop. John Baird was quickly getting to grips with his Escort Cosworth. He finished 4th overall. Stage 3, Corrie, 4.5 miles, and as expected, this one was muddy and very, very wet. Milne was now leading, but only 4 seconds from Munro. He managed to increase that to 13 seconds over Dugan after Munro's encounter with a snowbank. George Gauld, meanwhile, was steadily getting himself into a strong position to challenge for the lead. John Gray, like Munro, was another front runner to strike trouble when his front differential failed. Luck was not on his side yet again. Michael Horn is one of the youngsters threatening to challenge the established drivers, but for 2 punctures he could have got better than 5th. A wrong tyre choice by David Galanders had dropped him down the field, but 2nd fastest here and 3rd fastest on the next stage put him back in contention. And no lack of commitment from Dugan, setting fastest time here out of all 75 competitors. He was aided, encouraged and sometimes bullied by co-driver Stuart Merry. In the passenger seat, he's every bit as competitive as the driver himself.
And care, left 7. Tight, 7. Tight. And junction, right 7. Right 7.
When Munro went out, Dugan moved up to 2nd place, closing the gap on Milne.
And care, right 7, left 7. Here, 7 and 7. Stop.
But for Gordon Boyd, bad luck robbed him of a top 6 finish, falling foul of a timing infringement, which put him last. Stage 5 was Lianach, and it was repeated immediately after as Stage 6. And here the complexion of the rally was changed at a stroke. The snow had turned to polished ice, and only Gauld was on snow tyres. He'd passed Milne, who'd slid into a ditch. So let's look at the conditions from inside Dugan's car. The revs are rising and falling as the wheels spin, but the car's not going any faster because of the ice.
And right 9. And left 4.
David Galanders went into the same ditch as Milne, but managed to hold on to 3rd place. Back with Dugan again, and the conditions are treacherous.
Very long. Just keep it tidy. Left 7 and 20. Left 6. 20. Oh.
He was caught out again, but no serious damage. And he continued without losing his second place.
Okay, that's you. Go, go, go. Keep it tidy. Left 5. Tidy.
If things were difficult for the four-wheel drive cars, spare a thought for those with only two-wheel drive. Andy Horn had to wrestle the big Opel Manta to 14th overall. Ian Wilson's 1600cc Opel lacked sheer power, but he still finished 21st overall.
It's going all right at the moment. We made the perfect tyre choice for the last two stages. We opted to go with snow tyres, and the first mile was snow. But half a mile into the stage, Donald Milne had gone off, and we proceeded to pass him during the stage, so we're quite pleased with that decision.
Well, really and truly, we had some day of it. We started off with snow tyres in the first stage, and that was wrong. And we didn't put snow tyres on the last two stages, which was right, you know, and we were off with a monumental off in that last two stages. Donald went off as well, so I don't know who's leading just now, but that's definitely not us.
We've been in the same tyres all day simply because we found the new ones we had didn't fit, and it seems to be working in our favour. I think we're somewhere in the top 3, I'm not entirely sure.
The final stages at De Villa. 2 tests in this forest, 2.5 miles, followed by a final 5.5 miles. And Gauld blitzed it. Incredibly, Gauld and co-driver Campbell were 13 seconds faster than Milne, 16 seconds faster than Galanders, and 22 ahead of Dugan. Milne fought back over the closing stages and climbed from 5th to 3rd, entertaining the crowds as he went. But Galanders dropped back to 8th when he slid off the road on the mud, and he needed some hardy spectators to keep him going to the end. But it was Gauld and Campbell's day. It's 4 years since Gauld last sprayed the victory champagne, and that made success taste even sweeter.
Now it's all the way back down south for the Winter Rally, the opening round of the Mintex National Rally Series. Well, you don't get much further south than this without getting distinctly wet. Bournemouth, of course, the traditional home for the opening round of the Mintex Championship, the Winter Rally. And the first stage, traditionally, around Bournemouth's seafront. Leading the crews away, Murray Grierson, the Scot, X6R4, now Subaru Legacy mounted. Chris Mellors, back with power and four-wheel drive that he understands in his Ford Sierra Cosworth. And David Mann, a Toyota stalwart, once more out in a Toyota Celica GT4. More north of the border interest from David Galanders, the former national champion in his Escort Cosworth. And similarly mounted in an almost identically coloured car, the Shell scholarship car of Martin Rowe. Steve Hill was present in his ex-works Mitsubishi Galant VR4. And again from north of the border, Raymond Munro in his Ford Sierra Cosworth, formerly driven by Stephen Finley. Steve Petch's Ford Escort was brand new before the event, but after clanging it off the barriers, not quite so straight. Marcus Dodd very nearly losing it on the first stage. You'd think a powerboat driver would be used to the wet. And Glyn Jones in the first of the two-wheel drive Formula 2 cars, giving it some stick in the Astra. Group B supercars, Metro 6R4 in the hands of Tony Davies. Well, it may have been wet down at the seafront, but inland it was just as wet and slippery. Persistent rain in the week leading up to the event meant that both the tarmac and the forestry going was very treacherous. More than a quarter of the crews failed to make it back to the finish. Four-wheel drive or two-wheel drive, it was tough going.
Savor the moment, make it last. Acceleration, 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 acceleration. Don't lose control, get it right. We're on the limit, so hold on tight. Yeah, we're gonna make it the fastest time. 'Cause we're gonna beat them across the line. Acceleration, acceleration. Acceleration, acceleration.
Despite minor niggles like this, the Group N lead was comfortably in the hands of Shell Scholarship escort Cosworth driver Martin Rowe. But how did he find the event?
Well, I'm a bit disappointed because I'm only lighting fourth, and I was hoping to be in the top three, if not better. So, set 3 fastest times and a couple of second fastest times, so we're getting better. But there's not much left to do now. You know, there's only, I think, about 6 stages left. So.
A lot can happen in 6 stages.
Yeah, well, I can't see us pulling back 30 odd seconds, but we'll try.
And succeed, winning Group N and coming third by just a second, paying back some of the faith that Shell have shown him that has made so much difference to his career.
Well, basically, before the scholarship took me on, I didn't have a career in rallying. It was just me putting all my money I had, all my spare time, into a hobby. And now they've provided me, put me in with a professional team, a car like the Escort Cosworth, which is very competitive, and give me the chance to prove myself against like the top people. But I don't know how many thousands of pounds into me, which gives me an opportunity, you couldn't wish anything more. So it puts you against the professional teams and on a level with them. So now I've got the opportunity to show my talent and try and beat them.
Group N winner on the Winter Rally. He would have won Group N on the first round of the British Championship, the Rally of Wales, were it not for road penalties. This man has got a big future ahead of him. But it was an all-Scottish battle to the finish. David Galander's just snatching victory from Raymond Munro, getting the better of his sequential gearbox when it counted on the final couple of stages and taking the opening round of the Mintex series. Perhaps next time he'll get to enjoy all his champagne on his own. Well, in May's acceleration, we'll be finding out just how close Toyota came to dropping the ball in round 3 of the 1994 FIA World Rally Championship, the Safari. There'll be a special tarmac rally visit to the Circuit of Ireland as well, among other features in what proves to be an action-packed programme. Join us then for acceleration in May.
Acceleration.